Hello, welcome to Should I Buy This Game? Featuring Photograph, Wind the Film. My name is Christine, and in this video, I'll give you a brief description on how the game is played, and then share a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Photograph, Wind the Film to your collection. Here we have the card game Photograph, and I have it set up here for 2 players. And it gives you a little map on how the cards are set up. So on the outside, they're face up, and in the middle, they're face down. But even though they're face down, we still know that the number is between 7 and 12 or 1 to 6. So it gives us some idea, a range of what number those cards could be. Now, we deal 5 cards, and even though it's 2 players, I'm only going to show you from 1 player's point of view. And so the first card you get is at the back of your hand. And then you keep placing them. You get 5. And then this side here is the top of your hand. Now, when you get your cards, you cannot change their order. You have to leave them exactly like they are. Now, on our turn, we can pick 1, 2, or 3 cards, but however number of cards we pick, we have to play. So when I look over here, I know I could probably play the 2, because what we're trying to do is put the numbers from 1 to 12 or 12 to 1. So I could play this 2, but I wouldn't want to play that 11, and I can play this 9. So I think what I want to do is just play 2 cards on this turn. So when I look over here, I'm going to be picking 2 cards. Now, because I'm playing a 2, I could get this 4 because I can play the 4 after the 2. So I think I'm going to pick this 4, which goes to the front of my hand, and the yellow card, which was a 6, not the best card. So I add 2, and then before I play, I can wind the film, meaning I can move 1 card to somewhere else in the deck. So I know I don't want to be playing this 11 for a while if I'm starting with 2. So this is the card I'm going to move. And I'm going to put it right at the front because I want it to be a while before it's back down there. And then I take my bottom 2 cards and I play them. So I start a 2 in the red, and I'm going to start blue at number 9. Now, of course, the other player would take their turn, but I'm just going to show you a couple more just to give you an idea. Now here at the bottom, I have a 9 and a 12. Now I want that 12 to go out. So I'm going to, when I wind my film, I'm going to move that 9, and I want to play the 12 and the 4. So again, I'm going to look for 2 cards because I plan on playing 2 cards. So when I look here, I do not want this 10 because I've started with a 9 and I'm going down. The 4 is too far. I can't use the 1, but I haven't done green yet. So I think I might take the 10 and this red. So let's see what we get. I put the 10 here, and I get a 7, which should be okay. Now when I wind my film, I had said I'm going to take this 9, but I'm just going to put it here and play it the next turn. So for my 2 cards, I would play the 12, I would start a new one, and then the 4 would go on top of the red. And because they're only 2 apart, I'm still okay. So maybe I will do 1 more, and I'll come here, and I'm going to take the 9 because I've got that 10, and I will do this blue. Now, of course, your opponent would have taken some of these cards and they may not be available for you, but I'm just playing it to give you some idea of how it works. So I now get to wind the film. So I don't mind playing the 9. I'm good with that. I don't want to play the 11. So I think I'm going to keep the 6 there and move this 11 again to the front. So I play the 9 on the 12. Now, because it is 3 difference, we're still okay. If this was an 8, it would be considered out of focus, and I would have to turn it over and get -2 points. But as long as it's within 3, you're okay. And then I will play this 9 yellow just to start the new color. And maybe I will do one more just to show you. So I want to play the 10, and I can play the 9, and I can play the 7. I could even play that one if I wanted. But what's available to me? I don't want this 10. I don't really want that 4. I don't want the 1. So what I think I might do is I'm just going to take one card this turn. I'll take the 4. So I will move, which card? I will move the 7. And I can just put it here. And then because I only took one card, I'm going to just start my green. Now this is good too, to show you that I have started all 5 colors. Because if you're missing a color, then you would get -3 points at the end of the game. So as long as you have one card from all 5 colors, you won't get any negative points for not having a color. When this gets down to 3 cards, because of course your opponent is taking cards, you would remove all the cards and refill it based on the exact same way it was set up. And if you were to get, for a 2 or 3-person game, 4 in one of the colors in a row without getting an out of focus shot, then you get the good shot card for 5 extra bonus points. There are many card games that have you put cards in numerical order. However, this one just gives you that extra challenge. Because you have 5 cards and you're not able to move them, you're only allowed 1 card per turn to move placement. It really forces you to focus on the cards you're picking up, where they sit in your hand, because you have to drop your bottom cards. And the order even. It took us a few rounds to just remember that I need the smaller card before the bigger card because it goes down first, and just thinking that way. So it is quite a thinker of a game. The other thing they have is in the deck, when you're setting up, you put in this sunset card. This will appear near the end of the game. And at that point, you get one chance to wind your deck by moving one card. Then you have to drop your bottom 2 cards right when this card appears. And then for the rest of the game, you only play with 3 cards. So that gives you even another challenge because you know it's coming. You want to try and make sure your bottom cards are ready to go, and trying to just keep it all sort of in order of how they're going to be laid down, which cards you started at the beginning, which cards you started at the top. And it is a lot to think about, which gives you a big challenge, which makes it interesting when playing this game. Now, as easy as this might have looked at the beginning of the game, by the time you're about 2/3 through the game, you start getting a bunch of cards that no longer fit into what you are doing, but you're still forced to take a card. So we end up just taking one card at a time and playing one card at a time, hoping that a card will come up that we can actually play. So for example, here I have a 5 currently in my hand. Well, if I was to play that, it would be out of focus because I can't have anything less than a 6 currently. I have this 5 as well. I need another green in between there or else that card's out of focus. These cards are still okay to be played. But when I look here, I'm like, what do I take? I can't take the 10. I can't take this one from 7 to 12. I need less than 7. So we find by the last third of the game, it's really hard, and you're always like, how many negative cards am I going to pick up? And so that's the one thing we found. And the other thing is that, yes, this game is a brain burner, and it took us a couple rounds, as I mentioned, just to get our brain wrapped around collecting and placing and putting down the cards. And overall, even though we did figure it out, it still wasn't our favorite game. If we're going to play a game where we're putting down cards in numerical order, we might play Lost Cities instead. And so I guess maybe for us it was too much of a brain burner, but it just wasn't the way we really think. I Honestly, let's be honest here. I did better than Mark. Look at my game. But with that being said, you have to play as a pair. And so as a pair, it isn't a game we would really pull out. And I actually rented this game, and we're happy we rented it first to learn that it's not a game we personally really want to play. However, if you're looking for a card game that's a brain burner, maybe this is a good game for you. So let me know in the comments if you've played Photograph and what you think of the game.